You know what the most dangerous place in the world is right now? It's not the Middle East. It's not some war zone. It's the American church pew because the people sitting in it are comfortable. And comfort, unchecked, unexamined, and unchallenged, is killing the church from the inside out. This is gospel grit, no short form, no frills, scripture driven truth for people who want to follow Jesus, not just feel good about knowing his name. I'm your host, Kevin Skipworth. Let's get into it. I want to talk to you today about something I think most pastors are afraid to say out loud. We have built a version of Christianity in America that Jesus would not recognize. We have trimmed, softened, adjusted, and packaged the gospel until it costs almost nothing. And I'm not just talking about the prosperity preachers. I'm talking about ordinary churches, good churches, churches where the Bible is open and the people are nice and nobody is asking too hard a question. We have made following Jesus very comfortable, and Jesus never asked for that. Not once. I want to direct you to Luke 9:23. This is Jesus speaking. If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Three things there, folks. Deny yourself, take up your cross, follow me. You know what you don't find in that verse? You don't find feel yourself. You don't find express yourself. You don't find yourself. You find deny yourself. And that word in the Greek means to completely disown something. To say that is not mine, I don't know it, it has no claim on it. Jesus is telling you to say that about yourself, your preference, your comfort, your agenda for your own life. Disown it every single day. And then he says, pick up your cross. Now, we have turned cross into a metaphor. We say things like, well, my bad knee is my cross to bear. No, it isn't. The cross wasn't a metaphor for first century people. The cross was an instrument of public execution. It was shameful. It was brutal. It was the end of your reputation, the end of your comfort, the end of your future as you planned it. When Jesus said, pick up your cross, the people listening to him went pale because they knew exactly what he meant. He meant, I am calling you to a life that costs you everything. And then he says, daily, not once at a dramatic altar call, not at a retreat when the music was right and you were feeling something. Daily, every morning you wake up, the cross is right there. And you have to pick it up again and again and again. And we have talked ourselves out of that. Here's what I see happening in the American church. The American church, and I love the church. I have given my life to the church, but the American church has traded the cross for a cushion. We want church that makes us feel good. We want sermons that affirm what we already think. We want a Jesus who blesses our plans instead of calling us into his. And here's the terrifying thing. You cannot sit in church for 30 years, know all the right words, never miss a Sunday, and still be a stranger on a cross. I'm not talking about losing your salvation, because you can't. I'm talking about never actually living in it. Comfort seeking Christianity produces people who look fine from the outside but are slowly starving because you were not made to be comfortable. You were made to be crucified with Christ and raised to walk in newness of life. Paul said in Galatians 2:20, I have been crucified with Christ. It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. That's not a poem. That's a testimony from a man who was shipwrecked. He was beaten, he was in prison, and eventually beheaded. He wasn't comfortable in what he was doing. He was free. There's a difference between comfortable and free. Comfortable is when life is arranged around your ease. Free is when Christ is your everything and nothing else can touch your soul. Comfortable people are fragile. Free people are unbreakable. So let me just say it plain. The church does not need more comfort. The church needs more cross. We need people who will deny themselves in a culture that worships self expression. We need people who will pick up a cross in a world that calls that weakness. We need people who will follow Jesus, not the Instagram version, not the therapeutic version, not the political version, not the Facebook version, not the TikTok version, but the real Jesus. The one who said in Matthew 10:38, whoever does not take his cross and follow me is not worthy of me, not worthy of me. Those are his words, not mine. I'm talking to you today if you've been doing Christianity from a safe distance. You know about Jesus, you agree with Jesus, you might even show up for Jesus on Sundays, but you haven't surrendered to Jesus. The cross is not an accessory. It is not something you pick up when it's convenient and sit down when it costs you something. Jesus said, pick it up and follow me. That means wherever he goes, into hard conversations, into sacrificial giving, into forgiving people who don't deserve it, into walking away from things you used to love that are pulling you away from him. That's the walk, and it's worth it. Listen, I've been a pastor long enough to know something. The people I have watched walk closest to Jesus are never the comfortable ones. They're the ones who have lost things, the ones who paid something to follow him. And every single one of them will tell you the same thing. It was worth it. He, Jesus, is worth it. The cross is not the end of your life. It's the beginning of the only life worth living. Because after the cross comes a resurrection. And that is the Advent Christian hope. We don't believe in a soul floating around in the clouds waiting for something to happen. We believe in a God who raises the dead. We believe in a bodily resurrection. We believe that the same Jesus who said, take up your cross, is coming back to wipe every tear from every eye of every person who carried that cross and kept going. That day is coming. And on that day, the comfortable Christianity of our generation is going to look like the small, sad, shrunken thing it always was. But the ones who denied themselves and followed him, they're going to hear, well done, good and faithful servant. Don't settle for comfortable. Carry the cross, because Jesus Christ is worth it. That's all for today's episode of Gospel Grit. If this hit you somewhere real, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And if you're a pastor or a church leader, take this back to your people. They need the cross more than they need another feel good moment. I'm Kevin Skipworth. Keep the faith, preach the truth, stay gritty, and don't you dare quit. Blessings.